He's the boss of the webcam, the godfather of Dick L. Yo, yo, Mr. Electro. Yo, yo, Mr. E.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing? This is Electro Jed. Now, for those of you that don't know, and I really do not think there's very many of you that don't know about all the crap going on, and I really don't want to feed into it. But I'm so tired of people saying and giving misinformation and putting things out there that are untrue. Well, I'm about to play Elizabeth's story. This is from her mouth. This is her story. This is coming from her. All right. And this, certain people knew this entire story. And yet they are still willing to say the vile shit that they say and the disgusting manner in which they say it. They have absolutely no regard for other people's feelings. They're selfish, self-centered, egotistical, and in my opinion, evil. Hi, Angie, baby. How you doing? Welcome to the channel. I appreciate you coming in. But what you're about to hear, this is from a few weeks ago. this is after we got Elizabeth graduated. But I figure I'll let you guys hear the story from the source's mouth. That simple. So here we go. I'm going to mute my mic. Please let me know if you can hear it okay. Okay, I was worried about that. You said there's no audio? You don't hear the video at all? No, I know my mic is muted. I just want to make sure that you can hear the video because this is video that I'm playing. This is from a few weeks ago. Just let me know if you can't hear the video. Okay, let me fix that. Let me fix that problem. Was old enough to take care of herself. Can you hear the audio now? Her mom was old enough to take care of herself. If it was just her mom, I would have said, "Yo, you got to take care of you." I was not going to leave a 16-year-old teenager out there on the street. Let me back it up first. I told Kim I would take her and her mom in. I mean, I didn't want. At that time, how old were you? 15.
When I first met you, I was 13.
Right. But when you moved into the house across the street, were you 15 at the time or 16?
I was 16. It was a month after my birthday.
Okay, right. So she was 16 years old at the time, and her and her mom were staying with us, and we had them stay. I didn't want a 16-year-old. You know, her mom was old enough to take care of herself, in my opinion. Her mom was old enough to take care of herself. If it was just her mom, I would have said, "Yo, you got to take care of you." I was not going to leave a 16-year-old teenager out there on the streets. So I told Kim I would take her and her mom in, not a problem. And if you guys thinking weird, I've helped people out before. It's in my history. You'll see it. I help a lot of people out. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But that's just the way I am. I like what, and the only thing I ask of anyone is to pay it forward. You know, if I help you out when someone needs help the way you did, then you paid forward and help somebody else out, which means basically you go through the same hardships we go through, and you see exactly how to help somebody else out. Anyway, that was the deal that I made with Amanda. Pay it forward. You can stay at our house. You got to help out with bills. And if you can help out cleaning the house up, that would be great. You know, I didn't want Amanda to be house bitch or anything like that. You remember, I did not ask her to do anything crazy,
Mm-mm.
right? Did not ask Amanda to be house bitch. I just said, just help out around the house if you can. And that was the deal. And we let them stay here. I did not know that the money that Amanda was getting was actually Elizabeth's money. Elizabeth was getting money from her dad, who unfortunately passed away while she was an infant. And he was getting some sort of disability because he was diabetic, and he had uh, kidney malfunction or something like that.
No, he had dialysis and he had diabetes.
All right, dialysis and diabetes. All right. Now, Elizabeth wasn't old enough to know or remember her dad. That being said, um, the money that Amanda was using to pay bills and pay rent, because she was previously staying at another house. It was a house that was, I think, in the southwest side of Albuquerque. And we saw the house. It wasn't a bad looking house, but apparently there were issues between Amanda and her roommates. I'm not going to judge Amanda by what happened there, because you get different stories from different people. So I'm judging Amanda on how she treats us and how she treats her daughter and how she treats my wife. That's how I'm going to judge you. And that's how I judge everybody, on how you treat us and what we see. So we gave Amanda a place to stay. They were staying in our living room. We had two couches in the living room at the time, and Elizabeth was on one couch, and Amanda was on the other couch. And it was all fine and dandy at first. It seemed to work out. Elizabeth was going to school online, and one thing I noticed. Let me tell you how smart this girl is. This girl would have a full day's schoolwork done literally in less than 2 hours. She would have an entire day's curriculum done in 2 hours. That's including the homework assignments, that's including the schoolwork assignments for the day. She'd have them done in 2 hours. So she had the whole rest of the day being bored, staying on the couch in my house. A 15, 16-year-old girl inside the house all day. So I was trying to convince Amanda to put this girl in school. I told her.
Let me let
Yeah,
me
yeah, go ahead.
let me
go ahead.
just say something. The school that I was in, it was my sophomore year. I was in 10th grade when I was online. Um, I have diabetes myself, So I guess I can kind of understand from where my mother was coming from. She was scared. But at the same time, why all of a sudden put me in online school when all the other years before then I was in person? Anyways, not the point though. When I was in school, I ended up getting my CNA. So I'm a certified nursing assistant. Um, I choose not to work with the elderly right now because I'm going to college for something bigger. But I did pass the 10th grade. I got my CNA. I was taking nursing classes. And then last year, the beginning of the year, I was taking beginning cosmetology. But because I don't find interest in doing things like that, I want to like challenge myself with more and help others. I want to be in the medical field. And my mom is not really, she was not really supporting the fact that I got my CNA before she got hers. So
Yeah.
continue, Georgie.
So I'm talking to Amanda. I'm telling her, look, this girl needs to be in a school with kids her age. She doesn't need to be in a house all the time with my old ass, with my wife, with her mother. She doesn't need to be surrounded by old people. She needed to be surrounded by people her age. She needed to be in high school. And I offered her, I told her I would give Elizabeth rides to school, let her enroll into Valencia High School. But your mom was negative on that one. She didn't like the idea.
She said because it was towards the end of the year, she didn't want to put me something like restart something for me. Although it would have helped me in the long run because if I went in person, then I would have gotten more extra college credits. So
Yes, it would have helped you a hell of a lot more. But uh, how long did you guys stay with us? We were there. You were with us for about 5 months, 4 or 5 months, or was it less?
we were there since December.
So you were there since December.
No, we were in there in November, the beginning of November, because that was when you helped me cook the Thanksgiving gravy.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's where Elizabeth and I bonded. We really started bonding. I wanted to, because in my house, I do the prep work for the turkey. I usually cook the turkey and I make the gravy and stuff like that. Katie does the pies and the side dishes. What's up, Biggs? How you doing? I know. Right now, we're making this about my daughter. This is my adopted daughter, Elizabeth, and we're telling her story. We're telling her story, and there's a lot to tell. And I don't want what happened to her to happen to anyone else. She's gone through a lot in just the time that I've known her. And mind you, I've only known her for about 4 or 5 years, and but this is one of the most brilliant, one of the most smartest, one of the most uh, intellectually sound girls that I've ever met. Honestly, she is much older in her mind than she is in her body. I'm telling you guys, this girl is a brilliant young lady, and she is so smart. She can get. I was bragging about it earlier. She can get a whole day's curriculum of schoolwork done within a couple hours, and then she's bored, and she has to sit there and listen to old folks talk all damn day. And luckily for me, I like my TikTok and I like my YouTube and obviously Facebook and all that. And she was doing TikTok at the time, and we started talking about TikTok, and then I said, "You want to help me make the gravy?" And she said, "Sure, I would love to help you make the gravy." Yo, I tell you what, she took over. She took over. Now, mind you, I make gravy from scratch. That means I boil the vegetables and the bones and everything like that, and I reduce it and all this, add wine, all. I taught her how to make the gravy, and she took it over. and made the gravy. And it was to die for. And that's where her and I bonded because I love to cook. I love teaching people how to cook. And she loved to learn. And she absorbed all that information, literally absorbed all that information and kept asking me questions. How do you make this taste? How do you and I would teach her. And that's how her and I started becoming close. And then there was a point in time where, you know, I would constantly reinforce her. I would constantly compliment her and I would tell her she's doing good. I noticed that her mom never did that. Her mom would never tell her she's doing good. Her mom would never give her positive reinforcement. Her mom would never, compliment her on anything she did. Nothing. Never complimented her on her figuring out how to get schoolwork done so quickly. And she did. She got nothing but A's. Nothing but A's. Mind you, and this is how come I kept telling Amanda, put this girl in school. Put her in school. Get her in high school. She needs to be around her own kind. She can't be around old people her whole damn life. And she doesn't need to be on a living room couch. And I think Elizabeth saw that I kept fighting for her and kept fighting for her and kept, you know, um, talking about her in a positive way. Her and I became close until that one day she melted my heart. Honestly, I never thought I was always Uncle Georgie. That's what she always called me. I was always Uncle Georgie, and and then we started calling her Fifi and Princess Fifi. So I started calling her Princess Fifi. She was my Princess Fifi, and that's to this day that's what she is, Princess Fifi. If you ever hear me call it, talking about Fifi, that's who Fifi is, Princess Fifi. All right, and her and I kept bonding and bonding, and our bond became so close. She told me one day, and it broke me down, brought tears to my eyes. She said, I consider you like a father figure. You're like the only positive male in my life that I actually. And she told me she loved me. I loved her, yeah, but it was like a niece thing, like your best friend's kids. That's how I loved her, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when she told me that, things changed. The relationship between her and I changed. Now it went from a friend of mine's daughter that I love to this is my daughter too. And that's how I love her, like my daughter. And she couldn't be any more my daughter than my daughter that I have. So ever since then, I would give her Yep, as one fucking negative remark from you, and I will fucking boot you. This is a recording. This is Elizabeth's story. One motherfucking negative remark, and you're gone. Fucking behave yourself. Growth advice. I'd give her, advice that should last her lifetime. I would tell her about, you know, if you give a person enough rope, if they have bad intentions, they will always hang themselves. Stuff like that. I would give her advice on boys and how to deal with them. I would tell her, you know, any question she had for me that had to do with boys, that had to do with life, I would talk. Her mom would never talk to her. Her mom treated her like a thing instead of like a person. And this is a person, a beautiful person inside and out. And she was never appreciated by her mother, ever. I appreciate you. You know that, right? And I
Yep.
appreciate all that you do.
Yep.
And and that means something. That means something to the younger generation. They want to be seen. You got to let them know that you see them. And her mother never let her know that she seen her. Her mother was too busy hiding in the laundry room listening to church music. Her mom went from one extreme, from sleeping with 4 or 5 different guys at the same time to all of a sudden she's holier than thou in the church. And I'm sorry, but when it comes to religion, I'm not a very religious man. I believe in God. I believe in being a good person. I believe you treat people the way you want to be treated. And that's what I would instill in her. Just treat people the way you want to be treated. Don't go for more than that. Just treat people, be good to people. More than likely they'll be good back to you. And that's what I tried to instill in her. All that being said, her mom wouldn't talk with her. Her mom, only thing that I got was that her mom used her for her check. Because her mom didn't want to work. Now, let me say this again. Her mom didn't want to work.
Or let's put it in more specific terms. The reason why we moved in with George and Katie was because she dropped her job. We were staying in Rio Rancho. And as delusional as this sounds, and I'm going to put this out here right now, I hate male validation. I can't get male attention from everybody and their mothers. It's okay to get compliments every now and then from a guy, but just to seek and to give out money to that person, even if you don't know them in person, is crazy. We lost our house in Rio Rancho because she was not working and because she was giving out her money to some guy she called her soulmate across the country who catfished her. She thought he was a military man. In the photos, he was a military man. But then when she was like on the phone with him, he sounded like he was maybe from Africa. I'm sorry, but there's an issue there. And then he shipped out or delivered the stuffed animal to her, and she was like clinging to that more than she was clinging to her own child.
Yep.
When she found out that she was catfished, she cut the bear up and threw it away. And then that night, she was like, I miss my bear. I want to go get my bear out of the trash. This, and this. But it's sad because I was right there. And she just, I don't know how to put it, but not my senior year, not last year, but my junior year, she started distancing herself from me. You don't do that to family, especially if that's your child and you need to take care of that child. You don't distance yourself, you don't cut them off. And that's exactly what she was doing for this man.
I remember so many days that she would be in the laundry room just talking to somebody or playing church music, and that was it. Never talked to her daughter. I don't even remember her having conversations with you. The only time she would talk to you is when she was chewing you out about something.
When she was bickering and fighting with me, she would get mad at me for sleeping in on like the school days when like I'd finish everything. She would get mad and bicker at me and fight with me and complain about how I'm not up, how I'm not doing schoolwork and stuff. Like, I think the lowest grade that I passed my sophomore year with was probably a C minus. But I struggle with math, and she's supposed to be my teacher. So meanwhile, while I was struggling, she was sleeping or she was in the laundry room and she wasn't helping me. So she was fighting with me about what she wasn't doing.
Didn't I end up helping you with the math and water school, something like that? Anything she had questions
Like,
with?
In my nursing class, it was like it asked me to do this big project for a final, and it said you need an emergency contact list and like an emergency bag and this and this if there was to be a tornado. So I was asking questions like what would I need exactly for like a tornado, because I've never experienced a tornado. I mean, hello. And so I asked my mom, and she goes, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Ask George. He has a computer." And I'm like, "But you're my teacher. You're
What's
supposed
up,
to be helping
JD?
me."
JD is one of my nephew's best friends. This is
Hi.
this is my daughter, JD. We're talking about what she's going through. This is my adopted daughter, but we're just gonna say she's my daughter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I adopted her, and she's going to be taking on my name. But yeah, JD, when you see her, make sure you say hello to her every time you see her. Yo, what's up, Brian Harkin in the house? How you doing, my brother? Brian, you remember Elizabeth? You met Brian on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that we went on the cruise with. He's the big gentle giant. but anyway, I would help Elizabeth out with any questions she had for school. And Keyshawn Davis versus Edwin Oh yeah. Oh really? That yeah. Yeah, I haven't been able to watch boxing JD in a while because I've had so many things go on my personal life and with her and making sure she's okay because her mom basically tried to ruin her life. But anyway, something had happened out here. A few months into them staying, I ended up taking in her brother as well. Her brother was staying with a friend of ours, and he kind of messed up over there. So I ended up in a household where I could barely have three people. I all of a sudden had me, Katie, Elizabeth, Amanda, and her oldest boy, her oldest son. And I took him in. We took him in, and we tried. I tried to build a relationship with him too, but he was too busy, playing video games. And the relationship between Amanda and I became very strained because of the way she was treating her daughter. Actually, the way she was treating her son too. It just bothered me. You don't ignore the kids. I'm, you know what? I don't know, JD, if it's luck or curse for her because she got to put up with me. And I'm an old Puerto Rican. We're not easy to deal with, JD. You know how we are. We're not easy to deal with. We're old. We're crabby. We got attitude. You know, but she
But
puts up with it.
and he's an angry Puerto Rican. I make it worse. So actually, let's step back a little bit. We're gonna clock that tea. Is it lucky for me, or is it terrible for him?
I've been lucky to know you. I've been lucky to know you. It's been a blessing since I've known you. You bring me happiness.
He tells us, "I'm gonna go lay in the room for a little bit. We'll go take a nap." And then next thing you know, I come out of my room. I go, "Oh, Georgie, I have some tea," and he's like, "Oh shit." He's not actually like that. He enjoys my company.
No,
He has to.
I love spending time with her. Katie loves her to death. Her and Katie get along extremely well. I think her and Katie get along better than me and her do. Although I don't know if that's possible. But a little situation happened. We found out that the property across the street was up for sale, and I was talking with Katie about it, and me and Katie were interested in the property. This is the property we live in now, and so we decided to purchase the property. So we had gotten help from Katie's family, and I had gotten a little bit of help from the internet, from YouTube. People donated and stuff like that. So we were able to buy the property. Once we bought the property, something strange happened. Uh, the property was fenced off, and I had asked Amanda because somebody had went onto the property. This was after we purchased it. You remember this, right?
Yeah.
This was after we purchased the property. This property we're in right now. There was a van that came on and was inspecting or was looking around the property and stuff like that. So I'm like, what the hell? I went across the street And I said, listen, I asked her mom, call the police. Just call the police because the van had what looked like a mom, a dad, and like three kids. And one of the kids was a teenager. And I told Amanda to call the police. Not for my safety, but for their safety. They were on my property. I own weapons at the time, and I am going to go over there and I'm going to make sure and make sure everything's okay. And Amanda, in all her wisdom, decided not to call the police. And I'm over here talking with the dad, and I said, "Listen, this is not your property. This is my property. You need to get off of it." Well, prove it. I don't got to prove shit. Get off the property now. Because I had signs up that there's dogs on the property. Although I didn't move my dogs over there yet, I have my pit bull Sarge, and I had three dogs, and I said get off the property, and he wouldn't get off, and then he started getting belligerent. Now I had my pistol on me at the time. The whole reason why I told Amanda to call the police is so that I don't want to hurt somebody, especially in front of their family. But do not think I will not defend what's mine or the people I love. It just so happened my wife was there, she was there, Amanda was there, and this guy was getting threatening. So the police was for their safety, and Amanda wouldn't listen. So that was the last straw with Amanda. I said, you know what? I can't trust you to call the police when I need you to call them for these other people's safety. I need you gone. I need you gone. I want you out. But I did tell her that I told Elizabeth and I told Amanda, if something happens and you need a place to stay for her, if she needs a place to go for high school, she's more than welcome to stay with us so she can go to high school. It didn't end up that way. They ended up moving to Moriarty. Thank goodness she got a place. I was proud of her mom for finding a place. Again, living off this girl's money because Amanda wasn't working. Living off this girl's money, she found a house and Elizabeth was able to go to school. And I I showed up to every event that Elizabeth told me about, right? Every event Elizabeth told me about. Elizabeth enrolled in dance. She enrolled into
Choir.
choir. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. And I showed up for every event that she told me to show up for. And I did. It was that simple. I showed up for when there was a football game going on and your dance crew was out there.
Um, let's do a little bit of backing up there. Um, when I enrolled into dance, well, originally when we moved to Moriarty, my mom was pressuring me because before I was a dancer, I was dancing for Rio Rancho, and then I studio danced a little bit. So I was like dancing. But while I was in Los Lunas, I was unfortunately unable to dance. So I told my mom, "Can I get a job? Can I start building up my own money?" She told me no, but everybody was against it. Like they were like, "Well, she's trying to like build up for her future, like the things that she wants and the things that she needs. Like, why won't you let her?" And she's like, "Because she has everything made." Everything made. I was sleeping on a couch for a year. That's made for a teenager, for a 16-year-old. I was not even in high school.
Yeah. And on top of that, Amanda wouldn't get her ID. She wouldn't let Elizabeth get her Social Security card.
My mom wouldn't give me my healthcare cards. She didn't even like tell me things about my own father, about my own family, on why we aren't so close with my family. I was asking questions. I was even asking my brother, and they both refused to tell me because I was too young, too immature. My brain was not involved. So I was like, okay, well then when I'm 18, I'm going to ask. Well then once we moved out, the day that we moved out of George and Katie's, my brother gave me his spare phone and he said, I want you to block Katie and George. And apparently my mom and my brother, they were both planning this. They said that if I do not stay out of contact with Katie and George, that they will take my phone and I won't have a phone until I pay for my own phone. When that, okay, it doesn't make no sense because one, I was trying to get a job. Two, I did not have money to get an ID. So therefore, I had to wait till I had spare money from others who would give me money if I did chores or whatever, like allowance money. I wouldn't even get that because my mom was not working. It was my money from my dad's benefits. Well, then I made the deal to not stay in contact with George and Katie. Well, then George made a an account on TikTok and we were communicating that way. And I was letting George know like what was going on in the household when we moved to Moriarty, how things were going with me, like we were just staying in contact. Well, then I made the move of telling my mom that I wanted to get baptized in August of 2023. And I told her, but you're not going to tell me who I can and cannot invite. And I'm inviting George and Katie. And she was like, aside from everything that happened, she was like, fine. She's like, but don't expect to be going over there and staying the night or anything. And I was like, okay, that's not what I was intending on. I just want them to be there for me because they were there for me all these other years. Why can't they be there now for my baptism? So they showed up, but while we moved to Moriarty, my mother, she was like peer pressuring me into being back into dance. And I told her like I think it's best that I get a job and I focus on school and I start focusing on what college I want to be in and whatnot. And she was like, okay, but why not be in dance? Like maybe it could help you get into scholarships and stuff. So I thought about it and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the tryouts and I'm gonna be in dance. Well, she was like supportive on the side of me being in dance and choir and stuff my junior year. And I was failing in one class that I took because it was like extremely hard and the teacher didn't really like me. And I found out later on that teacher had my brother past years in high school. So she like recognized me and she's like, "Oh, well that's your brother. I'm going to fail you." Well, I was trying to go to prom junior year and she would not pass me shit, for shit. And I took it to the principal, I took it to the superintendent, I took it to my mom. Like I was having a mental breakdown because I really wanted to go to prom. I really wanted to do these things for dance and whatnot, but she would not pass me. So I had to make up that credit in the summer. I told my mom that I was going to summer school and I'm going to make up that credit. I'm going to pass and I'm going to graduate on time. And senior year came around and she basically put my senior year in jeopardy.
Oh yeah, she did.
I was close not
How
to.
did we start getting back in touch with each other again? Even after that, because I remember that I had to make I had to make deals with Amanda to be able to have Elizabeth come spend weekends over, and this way I could help Elizabeth with whatever schoolwork she had, and whatever she needed, anything, and tried to make. I had to make deals with Amanda to be able to have Elizabeth come over. When did she first
Um,
let you start coming over?
so I know that she made the account junior year and we were staying in contact then. And then that's when I told her my baptism that I wanted you guys there. And then I
Mm,
started following you guys on Facebook. We exchanged numbers.
right.
And then apparently mom came over when you guys first moved here to grab mail or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
then you
yeah.
told her that I had a room here
I had to pause it for a second. First of all, Stormy, I don't know what's going on. Please, guys, don't fight. Don't fight with Stormy. Stormy, don't fight with no one else. And listen, the stupid comments are going to get deleted. The stupid comments are going to get, timed out. It's that simple. But um, if you guys see that right there, intellectual soapbox, can you all please subscribe to him? This is one of the OGs that I hang out with, and yeah, he's a brother. He's a true brother. Please check out his channels, check out his content, and yeah, he's got a lot of good content. Check out the intellectual soapbox. You're my brother, OG. Yeah, we're gonna do that live eventually together, for sure. Let me let this continue.
For me, for whenever I come over and
Yeah, I told her you had a room for when you turned 18 because we
yep,
told her when you turn 18, she can go wherever she wants. Because I
yeah.
told her mom, look, this room is specifically this extra room right here, that room right there. That's her room. I told her mom that's gonna be her room no matter what. When she turns 18, Elizabeth's gonna stay there if she wants to. And yeah, OG, drop your link, please. OG, drop your link in in the chat, please. I appreciate it. Anyway, we're continuing. Amanda said, "Okay, well, that's if Elizabeth wants to do that, that's fine." We gave her her mail. I remember that she would come over and get because she was still receiving mail across the street, and I kept inquiring about Elizabeth. How's she doing? What's going on? How's high school life and stuff? And Amanda would give me very limited information, and then apparently she gave Elizabeth permission to talk with us, to continue, to rebuild a relationship with us, and we did, even though Elizabeth and I were talking already. Um, but I would let her mom know. I have to respect Amanda because that is Elizabeth's mom. At the time, that's her mom. I couldn't, I wasn't going to do anything behind her mother's back. And as much as that, and mind you, that put a strain on the relationship between her and I, between Elizabeth and I, because I told Elizabeth, it's your mother. I can't do anything against her. And I can't tell you bad stuff about her. All I can say is that you gotta listen to her. There's gotta be love there. And your mom loves you. She has to love you. There's gotta be something there. And Elizabeth would tell me, she would like, I don't think there is. I mean, you I trusted Amanda way more than Elizabeth did, and for good reason because later on you're going to hear the horror story that about what Elizabeth went through. But um, Elizabeth started spending weekends regularly over here, and we everything was fine. To make sure we checked on her blood, and because she's diabetic, make sure she took her shots, all this good stuff.
And see, when I'd come over here, like when I would tell my mom, like, hey, I want to go spend the weekend with George, or during the summer, I would tell her, hey, can I go spend like a couple days with George and Katie, whatever. She's like, yeah, but you're gonna be bored. Like, there's nothing to do there. Why do you want to go over there so bad? It's like, even if we don't even do anything,
I'll see you later, JD.
aside from spending time here, it's not even about like going out and spending money or whatever. It's also about spending quality time with the people that you love. I'd rather stay inside for a night and watch something random that I've seen multiple freaking times and get freaking takeout, or we'd make something and you know binge watch freaking, I don't know, Bluey.
Yeah, yeah. Katie calls her Elizabeth Bluey now.
Exactly. Like there's things to do at home. I'd rather spend time with people who love me and who inspire me to be better than to be at a house where I don't even connect with
All she did was bitch you out about anything and everything.
anything. Like back when I was still living there in Moriarty, I got a job as a server, and I had to work night shifts because I had school. So I'd go to school and I'd get off at 3:15. 3:15, I'd go home, I'd get ready, and then I'm back out and I have to go and make money, whatever. Well, then I'd come home and she'd start bitching at me. Oh, there's no food made. There's no dinner. You don't want to eat with me for dinner. And so I'm like, okay, well, then let's basically meal plan ahead of time. After school, I'll eat something with you and then I'll go to work and then everything will be fine. So then we figured that out. And then maybe like a week later, she'd bitch me out about how the house isn't cleaned or anything like that. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I wake up, I go to school. I come home and I get ready. And then I'm back out to work until 10 o'clock. And then I have to come back home and then I have to get ready for the next day for school or whatever else that's planned.
But she wants you to clean the house too.
Yeah, she wants me to clean the house. She wants me to cook. She wants me to do all these things. And it's like, I'm basically taking on.
See, this is what I'm talking about. You nasty motherfuckers. Seriously? Seriously, you're gonna make stupid comments like that? You're gonna make comments like that? Come on. And then this shit talking about me is going on, and then you got motherfuckers making these comments. Sad excuses for human beings.
The parent role. I'm basically raising you now. That's my household. I was paying mortgage,
You were paying
electricity,
you were paying the rent, you were paying the electricity, you were paying the utilities, including the electricity.
and I was paying for her phone bill and my phone bill.
All that was coming out of her check from her dad.
And then the money on top of that I was making.
Yeah, and then the money she was making at work. And Elizabeth was paying for Amanda's weed. No lie, dude, no lie. Amanda would ask her for money for weed and cigarettes. She's getting weed and cigarette money from her daughter that she's already living off of.
And see, and this is an example. I got my senior photos taken, and I was giving them out to loved ones, and I had like the little SIM card to go and print them for Walgreens. Well, I asked her one day, can you take me to Walgreens to go print these photos? I just need a couple printed. Let me mind you, that money being spent on those photos being printed coming out of my pocket. Well, I only had like maybe like $10 exact to go and print these photos. Well, she goes, well, can you give me like $5 or $10 to go and get a blunt or something like that from the dispensary? And I'm like, well, not really, because that money needs to be going towards my photos. She goes, well, I guess you're not getting your photos printed then.
She had Elizabeth on lockdown. She wouldn't get Elizabeth her ID. If it wasn't for the fact that I kept pushing Amanda to get Elizabeth her ID and her social security card, Elizabeth wouldn't have got the job. And if Elizabeth didn't get the job, the bills wouldn't have been paid. So, this woman, hold on a second, it's Brian. Yo, Brian, go ahead and talk to me. Yeah.
That the money for the ID though,
You
my
hear the stream on?
my birthday is in October. So one of my family members gave me like maybe $40, and I did my
Oh my
own
God.
research.
Hold on. Go ahead. Keep talking to me. Brian's
And
mom's in the hospital.
uh-oh.
Yeah, you keep talking to
Okay. I took 20 of
What's
those
going on,
dollars
dude?
and I did my research, and I basically had George and Katie help me push her to get me my ID. So I went to the MVD and I got my ID finally, and then I started applying for these jobs and stuff. Um back when I was dancing, like I said, my junior year, she was supportive. Like she'd show up for any event. And she would even invite like most of her friends to go and support me at the football games when I dance or like my choir events. She would go. And even like if they were out of Moriarty, like if they're in Rio Rancho, she would go. But this year she would say, "Oh, do I have to go? Oh, do I have to go and support you? It's cold outside. Why am I going to want to sit at a football game? X, Y, and Z." And it's like you would take these risks for your child. You're supposed to anyway. I mean, it sucks because it might be cold or whatever, but that's your child. Showing support towards them, it just it helps motivate them, I guess. That's what it did for me at least. Well, we had a senior night, a football night, and I asked my mom, "Could you introduce me? Can you walk me onto the field for senior night? Can you introduce me?" And she was like, "Do I have to? It's cold outside." And it's like, "Yeah, because I'm your daughter. I graduate this year. Not only that, but I'm going to CNM and I'm helping people in the medical field." It's like you would want to be proud of your child. You would want to introduce your child. My birthday was on that senior night. So I was excited that day. As much as it sucked though, I had to wear a freaking uniform on my birthday instead of like a dress or something, but I had to wear a uniform, which was totally okay because I love dance. The girls on that team and the coach, they bring out a glow in me that you've never seen before. Like I walk in a room and everyone like notices me. I have the most confidence when I dance. Even the cheerleaders told me that. They were like, your showmanship, like your facial features when you dance, like you can get it. You are sassy with it. You know how to move. You're talented. And it's
Y'all gotta see the videos I put up.
it's
Right?
very it's
Check out my old videos of her dancing, and yeah, you gotta check it out. She's got the biggest smile. She's got the biggest leg, the tallest leg. As small as she is, she's got the tallest leg kicks, the biggest smile. She's always got that you know that little flair that just makes her much better. She's she's the best. She's the best.
Joji. But that day it was on my birthday and I went into the bathroom and my mom woke up, she was getting ready as well. She had to take me to school. And she was like, it was fine. Everything was fine. She said happy birthday, whatever. She was loving on me. I went to the bathroom to go brush my teeth and she goes, "Do you feel a little older now?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "Am I supposed to?" I was like, "I mean, I know it's my 18th birthday, but I don't feel different. Just ordinary day." And she was like, "Well, you look a bit different. You look a bit older." And I was like, do I have wrinkles or something?" And she goes, "Yeah, a little bit." And then she walked off. And I was like, "Oh, okay. So maybe I should go and put a little bit more makeup on so I can cover that up." And I asked her, "So I don't know if you're gonna be there tonight at the football game, but just so you know, um, because I can't bring dinner like you said that you were gonna do, I'm gonna have Sydney do it for me." Sydney's my best friend, just so you guys know. Sydney's my best friend, and she was also on the dance team with me. Um, she was gonna bring pizza for me for my birthday, and we were gonna celebrate my birthday with the team for the football night. And my mom was like, "Oh, so George and Katie are gonna walk you. They're gonna introduce you." And I was like, "Yes, that's the plan. I can't change that. I can't tell my coach to change it last minute because it's a whole process. And she was like, okay, whatever. And she got a big ol' attitude about it. And I was like, okay, it's a bit strange because you told me that you didn't want to be there, so I'm having other people walk me. Um,
Uh-uh.
so day passes through and we get to practice. I get to practice and I tell Miss Tanya, like, I'm excited. It's my birthday. I'm 18. And then I get to walk with my family and I get to dance. It's the last football game and I'm excited. And the girls are hyping me up, whatever. I'm having a good practice. Well, we get to dinner and Sydney tells me, why's your mom outside with the food? I was not expecting her to be there. And she comes with a small gift, she comes with a birthday cake, and she comes with soup. And I asked my mom, I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, I thought I wasn't bringing dinner. And she was like, well, I changed my mind. You can't, if something's already scheduled and then you have to cancel it for someone else to do it, you can't just make that plan again. Like, you can't just put plans on top of plans, especially when you're a dancer. Um, so my mom comes in and she tells me, I'm introducing you. I'm walking you onto that field too. And I look at Miss Tanya, my coach, and I was like, I was not expecting her to do this, and I am so sorry that she's making it um such like a hassle for you to have to like change everything and like sort everything out all over again. Like, I know that's overwhelming and I'm so sorry and I'm apologizing for my mother's actions and her behavior and you know just everything in general. And so that night was ruined. I was supposed to.
It wasn't ruined because we got to see you and we were happy with your performance. We were there.
Yes,
We
yes.
got to see you. I don't care what your mom
It wasn't like totally ruined, like Georgie said. He was able to walk me onto the field and they got to watch me perform, and that's the that's the type of support that I need. But because my mom canceled and then made the plans again, and then just it's
did. I
irritating.
just think it was the fact that we were there that she didn't expect us to actually be there, and we were going to be there. We were always going to be there for you. She didn't like that idea, so she wanted to force herself in, and that's what I believe. That's exactly what I believe.
And it's not that like I didn't tell her, because I did. I asked her if she could introduce me. She told me no, she didn't want to be there. It's cold. She doesn't watch football, X, Y, and Z. So then I went to my next resort, Katie and George, and I asked them. And like you said, that's probably where it came in
Yeah.
from. But in a way it was ruined, but in a way it also wasn't. And I'm grateful for what has happened. But then again, you just you just don't do that. You just don't do that.
There's a lot of things you don't do, and Amanda, I know you're going to end up watching it, and you're going to see this, and I'm sorry, but all the can of worms are going to be open because the story she told me, I was so angry at you. I the story she told me, I was so angry at you that you know what? I don't wish bodily harm on anyone. I really don't. But I wish something would have fell on your head. To be completely honest, you are you're not deserving of a daughter like her at all. You're not deserving of someone as brilliant as her whatsoever. You do not deserve anything. And yet you get handed the gift of a beautiful, smart girl that has so much potential. And you got a little boy that is about as smart as she is. And you don't
Yeah.
deserve that.
Oh yeah.
You do not deserve that because all you do is ruin people's lives.
And like you said, we do not wish harm upon anybody. I don't. I'm Christian to the bone. To the bone. And that was nobody's decision but mine to make. especially with the baptism too. Um, but I don't wish worst upon anybody. I don't wish harm upon anybody. But I feel like this is your karma. This is your karma, Amanda. This is your karma. You don't have a job for a reason. You gave up your dogs. You claim that you loved your dogs. You gave them up. You're living off of one of your friends. You can't pay for your own phone bill. You cannot even reach out to your daughter. You're not even there mentally.
You have no. That woman came over here the couple
Yesterday.
days yesterday. She came over here yesterday. She tried to accuse me and Elizabeth of closing down her mailbox, her post office box. She was just accusatory, just blatantly said you shouldn't have closed. I said we didn't close nothing down. And then she said I lied to them saying that this was my daughter. I said no. She said I was her dad, and I'm not gonna deny it. That's how I feel. I feel like she's my daughter, and we're taking the legal steps to make that official, whether you like it or not. She's gonna have the last name of Durant, whether you like it or not, Amanda. So she will be my daughter officially. So you can't say shit. But she came over here claiming that we stole mail from her. No, we did not.
I was getting my dad's money for me. They gave me a piece of her mail, and I left it in George's car, not even touched, not opened whatsoever.
Yep.
And we got accused of shutting down the mailbox.
Yeah, and that's not what happened. She didn't pay for her mailbox. So the post office doesn't play. You don't pay on time, they're gonna shut down your mailbox. It's that simple. Me and Katie have gone through that bullshit with the PO boxes and stuff like that. So we didn't do it, but you wanted to accuse us of doing that. And then that friend that you had in there, talking all that shit. You don't come onto my property accusatory. You don't come onto my property, accuse me of doing shit that I did not do. Yet there's a whole bunch of shit you did do. We're going to get into that in a little while, Amanda. All your tea is coming out. All
And
your
we're
tea is
about
coming
to
out.
clock it.
If you guys didn't know, and there's no reason for y'all to know, all right? Now, we're not going to say names or anything like that because there's litigation going on, and we don't want Elizabeth losing rights or anything like that to be able to see certain people. But I'm going to say it, Elizabeth. Elizabeth was molested, all right? Elizabeth was molested as a young, she wasn't even a teenager at the time.
What's funny? I was about to be a preteen. I was going into middle school when this happened.
And she, the story that I was told was so fucking unbelievable. You don't put your daughter in harm's way the way that this woman did. This woman had the nerve to tell her daughter that the reason why she got molested was because she dared her then boyfriend at the time to do it. Let me say that again so everyone could understand. The reason why this girl got molested was because her mother dared her then boyfriend at the time to touch her, dared him, and he did. And that's possibly the reason why he hasn't gone to jail, because she would get into just as much trouble for putting her own daughter into that position as he would have for taking advantage of that position. What kind of mother does that?
Let me remind you, I was healed from this. This happened, I think I was 10 years old. That was like 8 years ago.
Mm.
Um, I
Yeah,
was
explain to them how you found this out.
oh yeah, that's what I'm about to do. Um, I was healed mostly. I was getting over it. I From this situation, I suffer from body dysmorphia. I don't know if y'all know what that is. But I look at myself completely different than what others look at me. I suffer from body insecurities. I don't like specific things about myself. Um, there might be like good features of me. Let's say, I don't know, my arms. I don't like the way I look muscular. So I try every way to cover that up. Um, I
Hello?
I suffer from these things, but I also
Hey, I'm live
walk
on Facebook with my daughter. Let me finish up here. I'll call you back.
I walk with the most confidence in a room. Even though I'm insecure, I
Yeah,
still
I'm
try
live. You
to
should go to
smile
Facebook and look up my name and
and
see if you can, because
try to be confident about
oh
myself.
shit. All right. All right. I'll call.
Um anyways, so the
No.
story on how I found out she did
All
this
right.
to
Right.
me, I was sitting in the car. I found this out last year. I was sitting in the car with her, and I was eating, and I told her, I really feel like I've been revolving and becoming a person I didn't expect myself to be back when, that first happened to me. I felt like the world was ending when it happened because there's so many people that, think otherwise after that happens and they go and they take their own lives, unfortunately. And it's shitty. But I told her I feel like I'm healing that part of myself, and I know that it's not my fault. I did not ask for it. I was only 10 years old. And she told me that she needed to say something. She said, you have the right to know, but I just feel like you shouldn't know right now. And I looked at her and I was like, well, what are you trying to tell me? And she was like, I can't tell you you're eating. You're going to get sick from it. And I was like, no, like I'm 17. This is my story. I have the right to know what happened to me, or whatever it may be of, what happened. And we were parked at some store that she needed to get out at. And she told me I dared him to touch you that night. She told me that if he if he can go and want an affair with my sister when she's 18 years old, that he would go in my room that night and go and try to do something to me. So we took her up on that offer. And that night I was in my room and I was sleeping. And he went in there and he touched me.
You don't have to say no more. Just stop. All right. This this is the reason that I'm so protective of this girl. This is the reason. She's had to have a mom like that. Somebody just knocked.
I don't know.
She's had to have a mom like that and she's turned into a beautiful person. That's that's the shocking part. Is that the person you see here, it, she could have turned out to be way different. But no, what you see here is a strong, vibrant, smart, self sufficient, very determined young lady that wants to learn, that wants to be a productive member of society, that wants to work. Nothing like the woman that so called calls herself her mother. She is nothing like her mother. This is a real person, a real woman raised by a monster who did nothing but take advantage, who was egotistical, who was self righteous, self centered, who made no sacrifices for her kids, and had the freaking nerve to put her own child in harm's way. I am going to link your name at the end of this, Amanda. Amanda. Okay, that's her story. That's her story. Now, the reason why I played this, all right, the reason why I played this, there's two reasons. Because of all the shit talking that's been going on about me and Elizabeth, the vile, nasty, repugnant bullshit that's been coming out of Mad Chad's mouth, that's been coming out of Lacey, out of Lacey's mouth. Lacey knew this entire fucking story. Lacey, Jelly, she bitch knew this entire motherfucking story, and she still said the shit she said. And you sick motherfuckers in the chat, really, sobers, you're fucking disappointing. I used to think you were cool, man. Fucking disappointing. Really fucking disappointing. Do me a favor, don't come back here. Don't come back here. If all you're gonna do is make jokes at someone else's cost, at someone else's expense. And this is why, Mad Chad, you pissed me off. This is why I got mad at your fucking comments. She heard your comment. I didn't know she was in the seat behind me, and she heard that shit. You fucking vile piece of shit. But I bet you what, you'll just make jokes about it tomorrow. Bunker jokes, me being fat jokes, 4 teeth jokes. But what about the fucking vile comment you said and subjected this little girl to that bullshit? You fucking cocksucker. When was the last time you did the motherfuckers that judge so much? When's the last time you did anything good for anybody? When's the last time you made someone feel fucking good? When's the last time you complimented somebody? Other than a fucking troll for trolling. That's the sad state of affairs on fucking YouTube lately. And I'm fucking sick of it. And Jelly, fuck you, because you knew about this. And you still said that shit. I hope you get fucking crucified for that. I do take blame. You know what? Even though I know this is a troll comment, even though I do know that's a troll comment, I do take blame. I do take blame. If I would have known she was back there, I would have fucking left the channel. Yeah, RGM, I want to give me a second. What the fuck did I just do? All right. RGM, I want to thank everybody. This was her story, and I wanted you guys to hear it from her. Now, if you could do me a favor and please stop making comments that hurts her. I really don't give a fuck what you say about me because you're going to say it no matter what. How about you leave the comments that, about her? I don't care if you say she's 18. I don't care just leave her out of it. Because if you continue from this point on, all you do is prove what I'm saying about you. You're a piece of shit, low life, scum sucking pig. Meek, you have mods. No, you fucking don't. All right, Meek, I'm going to give you mods. I thought you had mods. There you go. And with the mods here, understand this. I don't care what anyone says about me. Boy, Alonzo, so help me fucking God. Say one goddamn thing wrong. Say one fucked up thing. I fucking dare you. This was something she wanted to do. This was a recording from a couple of months ago. She felt it was therapeutic. The only reason I'm bringing it up today is because of all the bullshit that's been said. So it's like with you guys, you're damned if you do, and you're fucking damned if you don't. What's up, E Prime? How you doing? But I want to see what's said now. She's not in this community. She doesn't hang out on YouTube. But she lives in this house, and I'm on YouTube. So she's going to see me, going around. It sucks, but I have to look over my shoulder to make sure she's not exposed to this shit. That's fucking sad. YouTube used to be cool to hang out. But then we got fucking idiots out here that can do nothing but prey on people. None of you have any shame. You fucking trolls, that's all you do. Grow the fuck up. Again, Alonzo, let it go. Just let it go. You'll get a huge weight off your fucking chest. We know that, E Prime. I know you don't mean all that shit. I mean, you're actually a cool troll. But I do blame myself because I'm so involved with YouTube. But have some fucking compassion. Why do you guys feel like you gotta pick on people? Why do you feel like you gotta kick a motherfucker when they down? And Chad, this is to you, you fucking idiot. When the recording of you went up there about the fucking 12 and 13-year-old girls, I didn't jump in on that fucking bandwagon. But you sure did the second Jelly said her shit. What I said is that was taken out of context because you were talking with Mel at the time. And I know Mel will not let shit like that fly. But you don't see that, Chad. You fucking child. We all know you're on the fucking spectrum. It's not mad Chad, it's mad child. Yepperson, leave on your own. I'm going to say it one time. Just leave on your own. I don't even know why the fuck you're here. Only to troll. That's all you do, Yepperson. You got no content of your own. You have nothing of substance to say. Just leave on your own. Anyway, to those people that seen this, thank you for watching it. Thank you for, sorry if you went through triggers because there's a lot of shit in there that was triggering. But this was her story and she wanted it to be heard and she made it heard a couple months ago. But she did not need to be exposed to the bullshit that happened with Chad saying that vile shit he said and with Jelly saying the repulsive, repugnant shit that came out of her mouth. Well, probably, Prime. Anyway, for all of you, I want to thank you for stopping by and hearing this. I really want the bullshit to stop. Leave my daughter alone. Stop making comments about her. Stop making references about her with me, you sick fucks. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm going to let Elizabeth know that you guys thank her for sharing her story. Anyway, that's all I had for you guys. I share that. I'm going to close it out. Hold on a second. I'm going to close it out with a song. Let me lighten the mood a little bit.
Wasn't flirting with no fucking half nigga fucking. You know that nigga's a cop. Electro G is a cop.
He had on the hat, and you was like, "Ooh, I love a man in the hat."
Electro G is a cop.
I don't give a fuck. You wanted him.
No, I was trying to befriend him because I wanted to find out if he was law enforcement, and now I know. He's using her fucking chat to get Jaguar right intel because he's a motherfucking federal informant and an agent. Why don't y'all understand that there's real law enforcement on this fucking app?
Underneath the neon lights, he walks along the beat. Detective shades and tailored suits, hiding in the heat. But when the night is falling and the city starts to hum, he's the shadow